Michigan fans, Michigan women's hockey is live and on the air. We are live here from Salt Lake City, where it is your Michigan women's hockey team taking on Montana State. And we're struggling with a little internet connectivity. We can't get the audio only to go. And we had good connectivity earlier. Now we're struggling a little bit. So we'll do our best and just hopefully my play-by-play will help. Let's take a look at the team. So Michigan is now having won a couple games versus Lake Superior State University. They now have tied Michigan State. They had the loss to Adrian and the loss to Indiana Tech, but they have 4 wins versus Lake Superior State, a win versus Utah, and a win versus Indiana Tech. So 6-2-1 is the University of Michigan so far on the season. They are ranked number 6th in the ACHA Women's Division I poll. Taking a look, so we have 3 games coming up this weekend. The game versus Montana State here, and we're in the smaller of the 2 rinks. Just on the other side of the wall behind us is the bigger rink that right now the University of Utah men's team is playing in. And then we will play tomorrow versus University of Utah. That game is starting half an hour earlier, so 4:30 Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And then on Sunday, it is a 10:30 game here in Mountain Time. That's versus University of Massachusetts. UMass ranked number 10 in the last poll, so that'll be a big challenge for University of Michigan. That game 10:30 here, 12:30 back in Ann Arbor in Eastern Time. Taking a look at, if I pull this up, right now, your leaders in points for Michigan, DeCreasy has 6 points set on 5 goals and 1 assist. Simmer has 5 points on 3 goals and 2 assists. Eliason has 4 points on 1 goal and 3 assists. Katie German also has 4 points on 1 goal and 3 assists. And then a number of players. It is a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with 2 points. So it's Kolwich with 2 goals for 2 points, Proctor with a goal and assist for 2 points, Gargiulo with a goal and assist for 2 points, Matthews with a goal and assist for 2 points, and Evans with 2 assists for 2 points. Taking a look as we're counting down the resurfacing the ice, we're going to get going in about 5 minutes here. If we flip over and take a look at Montana State, There we go. They are 0-5 on the season. They played Colorado State to begin. That was a 15-2 win by Colorado State. Denver, they played on October 15th. Denver won that one 10-2. They played Colorado State again that on the October 15th. So 2 games on a single day. That's tough, but that was an 11-2 win by Colorado State University. On October 16th, they played University of Denver again. That was a 10-3 win by Denver. And then they last played University of Utah, who Michigan will see tomorrow. That was back on the 17th of November. I believe that was the opening of this Beehive showcase, and that was 16-4. Utah won that. So on paper, it looks like Michigan should be able to win this game, but again, you never know until everyone hits the ice. So Michigan never want to take any opponent lightly and give them always your best shot. This is a small bench for Montana State. They only had 11 players on the ice, and Michigan with a lot more than that. So Montana State's going to be, you're going to see a lot of the same players out there. And just means you're going to, excuse me, little tickle in my throat. Just means those Montana State players gotta be in such good shape as they're going to be people putting a lot of time on the ice. Taking a look at the top point getters for Montana. If I pull this over and pull this up, by the way, it's Montana State Bobcats. As top scorer is Fondle, who has 7 points, that on 7 goals. Aldrich in the number 2 spot with 5 points on 2 goals and 3 assists. The number 3 spot belongs to Gale, who has 2 goals for 2 points. Kostelecki, is in the number 4 spot with 2 goals for 2 points. Casey Holland has 2 assists for 2 points, and Cairns has 2 assists for 2 points, as well as Gramont has 2 assists for 2 points. And that's your top point getters for this Bobcat team. Taking a look between the pipes, Panev has played 9 games. She is 5-2-1. She has a fantastic save percentage of .955, just outstanding. 4 shutouts so far for Panev, goals against average of 1.75. Last time we checked, Panev had the highest or the best save percentage of any goaltender who had played more than 3 games. As we got to talk about with Coach Tribbs, we did the first ever that Arbor Broadcasting hosted first ever Michigan Women's Coaches Show a little bit ago. Go check that out. That's out on our website. Taking a look and pulling up Montana as far as goalkeeping, it's O'Brien who is going to be between the pipes. She has a save percentage of .811, goals against 12.40. So she obviously faces a lot of shots. Both teams across the way as we're getting going here, and if you do want to reach out to the broadcast, we'll do our best to keep an eye on it. You can reach us at arborbroadcasting@gmail.com. That's arborbroadcasting@gmail.com. If you are watching at Arbor Broadcasting, by the way, we are a volunteer organization, so there's a little donate button down at the bottom if you feel so inclined. As Montana State is in their their home jerseys, they have the white tops with the Bobcat on the front, numbers in dark blue on the back and on the shoulders, dark blue pants and dark blue socks. Michigan is in their dark blue jerseys, though, with the white stripe across the middle, the block M on the front, numbers in maize on the back and in blue on the shoulders, with the winged helmets for Michigan. As we're just about to get ready to go here. Both coaching staffs having last moment instructions. Not sure if we'll have the national anthem or not over on this side. We'll keep an eye on that. And a couple Michigan fans, some who made the trip from California, some who came out from Ann Arbor. We appreciate that. A couple Montana State fans over there, including their support dog. One of the players' support dogs is out here, and that is fantastic, and appreciate always love to see the puppers. Always a good time. By the way, if you wonder why Beehive, what's up with it being the Beehive And Utah being the Beehive State, despite being 25th in honey production. Now, that is a good story that looks like we're going to get going, so we'll talk about that a bit later as we are about to get underway. As I just noticed, first thing is we have number 19 to take the face off from Montana State, who I don't have on my roster, but that's fired by Jackman. Comes all the way back out to center. Grabbed by Bryce. Bryce moves it over own blue line. Bryce gets it over to DeCreasy. DeCreasy right at center ice. DeCreasy coming down. That tipped away, picked up. Michigan has to touch up now. Simmer gets it in. That fired back by number 19. Michigan has it right at their blue line. Coming ahead with it's Katie German. Katie German on to the near circle. Katie German comes back behind the goal. Trying a wraparound attempt. O'Brien with the save. That puck right back behind the net into the far corner. Michigan feeds it out. Top of the far circle for Katie German. Outside the far circle, Simmer has it. Simmer moves it back to the far point. It slips back into the neutral zone. Swept back over to Bryce. Bryce has it at her own blue line. Bryce feeds it ahead. Coming in, Malashevsky. That just tipped off of her puck as Manning moves it back and along the far boards. Here comes Katie German, fires it deep before going for a line change. All the way over into the near corner. Swanson picks it up there. Swanson feeding it out in front. That comes top of the far circle. Bringing it ahead as here comes the Bobcats gaining the zone. That flipped over and a shot as that was Aldrich with a shot that deflects into the far corner. Trying to pull it as Lunum had it. That all the way back out to center. Atkins over to Sawyer. Sawyer trying to fire it ahead. That pulled back over. Here comes Malashevsky. Malashevsky comes in outside the near circle. Malashevsky stops underneath the near circle. Malashevsky feeds it over to Levinson. Levinson underneath the near circle. That through the slot. Loose coming over. Levinson with a shot that knocked down by number 19 for Montana. On the over. Cairns puts it all the way back. That saucers into the Michigan zone. Grabbed in. Here comes Reed. Reed has it back underneath the far circle. Moves it over. Manning coming up the far boards. Back over to Reed. Reed brings it over on blue line. Michigan comes over center ice. Bringing it ahead. Here comes Gargiulo. Gargiulo with a shot and she scores! Michigan goes up 1-0 at 17:55 as Gargiulo able to put it in. As that puck back gathered in as we just went to check to see who number 19 was. And pulled back into the far corner, loose. Rubin with the shot, that off the side of the goal. Evans trying to fire it out. Evans underneath the far circle now. Evans brings it back to the far point. That shot there deflects. That rolls right through the crease into the near corner. Trying to pull it back over outside the near circle. It comes. Lindahl with it. Lindahl with a shot that went off of the post. Shot over by Kolwich. Now here comes Evans. Evans outside the near circle. Evans puts it back into the near corner. That collected. Now coming up. Lonham has it. Matthews takes it into the near corner. Matthews trying to get around Jackman. Matthews fires it right into the slot. That grab as Gramont had it back into the neutral zone. Kolwich right at center ice. Kolwich firing ahead to DeCreasy. DeCreasy comes in. DeCreasy top of the near circle. Blocker saved by O'Brien who covers it up. 16:55 left to go here in the first period. Michigan up 1-0. Face-off in the near face-off circle. Malashevsky in to take the face-off versus number 19 for Montana State. Puck one settled down for Bryce. That loose in the near circle. Manning with the shot that went off of a Michigan skate. Trying to pull it around as Cairns tries to get it outside the zone. That comes right back behind the goal. Michigan fires it onto the far circle. Shot there. Saved by O'Brien. Coming back around the puck into the far corner. Swanson has it. Swanson loses an edge. That pulled away, but a whistle. That's going to be a hooking call. Hooking call at 16:32. Michigan will be on their first power play. As there'll be a Bobcat penalty. Face-off in the far face-off circle. Swanson in to take the face-off versus number 19 for the Bobcats. That into the far corner. Trying to pull it all the way back. And skating around, Katie German comes high slot, trying to put it in with Swanson covered, and they put it, they score. Swanson puts it in to make it 2-0 Michigan at 16:22. Power play goal. So Michigan strikes 10 seconds into the power play. Swanson putting it in. Face off. That pull back around. Michigan with it coming in. Bringing it is Proctor. Proctor top of the near circle. That got deflected by Sawyer. Proctor loses an edge. Sawyer trying to tip it back, battling right back behind O'Brien. That comes out in along the near boards. Levinson chasing it, trying to tip it away. The puck in along the near boards of the neutral zone. Gargiulo has it. Gargiulo trying to spin the other direction. Thomas moves over into the high slot. That pops back outside the near circle. Moves it back over. There's Proctor with a shot, saved by O'Brien. Gargiulo off the side of the net. The puck in along the far boards, trying to get that as Lonham has it. And that fired over, bringing it. Lindahl took a shot, that in along the near boards. Outside the near circle, Michigan with it. Thomas comes onto the near circle. Centering attempt, trying to get it over to Rubin. Add into the far corner. Rubin in along the M boards. Rubin from the far side to the near side. She loses an edge. That's going to be a penalty coming up. Hooking the call. As Michigan back on the power play. That at 15:20. As that is going to be Atkins who goes in for hooking. Face off on the near face off circle, trying to pull it away. Matthews has it back behind the goal, coming from the far side of the near side of the far side. Sends it to DeCreasy at the far point. DeCreasy high slot for Levinson. Levinson fires it, sliding around the puck on the near circle. Gargiulo with it. Gargiulo comes outside the near circle. Gargiulo brings it into the near corner, trying to avoid pressure by Aldrich. Held in, now it slips out into the neutral zone. Levinson fires it in along the far boards. DeCreasy back over to her own blue line. DeCreasy coming ahead with it. That over to Gargiulo in along the near boards. Gargiulo right at center ice. Gets it over to DeCreasy along the far boards. DeCreasy gains the zone. Top of the far circle. DeCreasy outside the far circle now in along the far boards. DeCreasy top of the far circle. Shot that deflects out into the near corner. Gargiulo has it there outside the near circle. Now coming into the near circle. Gargiulo into the slot. Backhanded shot at a goal by Matthews from Gargiulo. That makes it 3-0 Michigan. 1 minute, 6 seconds into the power play. And a power play goal for Michigan. At 14:25, Matthews from Gargiulo. Michigan, the officials talking to the Michigan bench. Face off right at center ice. Number 19 for Montana in to take the face off. Gargiulo on the other side. It comes back to Jackman. Jackman feeds it in along the far boards. Bringing ahead number 19. That tipped away into the near corner. And pulled back over. As a matter of fact, I could probably take a guess. That's Burton back over in along the near boards. Trying to pull it back. That loose onto the near circle. Back behind. Katie German with it. Katie German underneath the far circle. Katie German brings it ahead. Over center ice. Katie German down with a shot. That deflected back in along the near boards. Brought back. Katie German fires it deep. Jackman has it into the far corner. Jackman bringing it ahead. Gramont to play the puck. That slipped right past. Kolwich has it at her own blue line. Kolwich fires the puck. That goes deep into the far corner. Jackman has it in along the end boards of her own zone, fires it along the far boards, trying to get to it. That slips all the way back. Penalty upcoming to Michigan. That tipped and fired in, stopped and covered up. Excellent job by Pontiff. Michigan has a penalty kill now. That at 13:21. Interference, the call. So the first power play for the Bobcats this game is into the box. It's going to be Goldberg. Face off in the near face off circle. That comes top of the near circle. Outside the near circle. Trying to play it. Bouncing puck over. Grabbing it Sawyer. Now that pulled away. Fired all the way down the ice by Michigan. That comes right back behind O'Brien into the near corner. Proctor has it. Proctor trying to pull it away. That grabbed underneath and fired ahead by Lanoum. Katie German has it, firing it right back in to clear. 1 minute, 30 seconds left to go on the Bobcat power play as Aldrich feeds it around the far boards. Grabbing it is Fondle. Fondle trying to get to it. That pulled right back in. Poked away. Simmer trying to get to it. Intercepted by Katie German, who dumps it right back in. Atkins with it on the far circle. Atkins brings it ahead for the Bobcats. Atkins over on blue line. Atkins through center ice. Poked away by Bryce. Chasing it back. Lanoum. Lanoum has it. Now coming ahead. Here comes Aldrich. Aldrich, high slot, has that poked away outside into the near corner. There's a shot, bouncing puck, sticked away by Proctor. Shot from the far circle. That got deflected by Bryce. Outside the far circle it comes, now back into the neutral zone. Sawyer trying to get to it, fired right back. Bryce had it tipped away. As that is a whistle. 11:54 left to go here in the first. 3-0 Michigan with the lead. Michigan on the penalty kill for 34 more seconds. Offsides the call. That comes outside of the Michigan zone in the far face-off circle. Malashevsky versus, I believe that's Brown, number 19. Coming in along the far boards. That's sent in by Cairns. Right back behind the Michigan goal. Gargiulo has it there. Gargiulo feeds it ahead to Swanson down the near board. Swanson over own blue line, feeds ahead to Malashevsky over center ice. Malashevsky gains the zone. Malashevsky has it poked away, but coming in, backhanded shot by Swanson. Swanson underneath the far circle she goes. Swanson outside the far circle, now trying to come in through the high slot. Swanson backhanded attempt, saved by O'Brien. 4 seconds left to go on this power play for the Bobcats. 11:24 left to go here in the first. 3-0. Michigan with the lead. Brown Burton, I believe, is number 19. Malashevsky, and brought back, top of the near circle. Bryce trying to fire it away. And brought, held in by Bryce, now picked up, coming down the near boards is Atkins. Atkins over center ice. Atkins outside the near circle. Bryce puts it in along the near corner. And pulled by Michigan, bouncing puck on the near circle. They bring it ahead. Outside the near, along the near boards. Manning trying to get it. Back to Malashevsky. Pulled back by Lanham. Collision in along the far boards. That gathered in by Michigan as they gained the zone. High slot now on to the near circle. Gargiulo with it. Gargiulo into the near corner. Gargiulo outside the near circle she goes. Drops it back to Katie German. Katie German coming in through the slot. Shot and a save by O'Brien. Wow. What a save, as it was a beautiful centering attempt right on the doorstep. And O'Brien able to cover it up and make the save. 10:38 left to go. Michigan back to full strength. Gargiulo in to take the faceoff versus Burton on the far faceoff circle. Shot by Kolwich. Loose in the slot. Shot and loose again. They put it in. Michigan scores. As I do believe, was that Thomas? I do believe that was Thomas with the goal. That makes it 4-0 Michigan. Thomas with the goal at 10:32. And loose right at center ice. Gargiulo chasing it, trying to get it away from Aldrich. Aldrich brings it in, gets it over to Fondel. Fondel outside the far circle. Fondel into the far corner. Goldberg trying to pull it away. Now Gargiulo over to Goldberg. Goldberg brings it down the far boards. Right over the blue line. Michigan trying to pull it. Thomas has it poked away. That back in along the near boards. Kolwich with it on the near circle of her own zone. Kolwich fired all the way through. Burton intercepts and fires it right back into the Michigan zone. Stopped by Poneth, back behind her own goal. That moved over to Kolwich underneath the near circle. Ahead to Thomas, who goes over on blue line. Thomas feeds it down the far boards, gaining the zone. Here comes Michigan coming in. Backhanded shot and a goal by Lindahl. Michigan goes up 5-0. Lindahl's goal at 9:47. Michigan up 5-0 here in the first. Face off right at center ice. That come trying to poke it ahead was Jackman. Comes back to the Michigan blue line in along the far boards. That tipped away. Levinson has it in the high slot of her own zone. Banks it off the near boards. That gathered in by Sawyer. Sawyer trying to bring it ahead down the near boards. Michigan picks it up in their own zone. Gargiulo sends it down the far boards. Here comes Lindahl. Lindahl coming in. Who had the last goal. Lindahl on the far circle. Lindahl with a shot. That deflects onto the near circle. Gathered up there as Lanham had it. Now fired ahead by Gargiulo. Gathered in as Matthews feeds it ahead. Now on the far circle. Drop pass. High slot. Wouldn't settle down for DeCreasy. Gramont fires it back into the neutral zone. DeCreasy spins with it. DeCreasy makes a nifty move, getting around Burton. That poked away by Fondel. That comes back, top of the far circle. Jackman feeds it ahead. Michigan. Katie German feeds it right back in. Michigan has to touch up. And to avoid a delayed offsides, bringing ahead down the far boards is Sawyer. Held in by Katie German, top of the far circle. Over to DeCreasy, feeding on the far circle shot. That just goes wide. Outside the near circle it goes. Holding it in. Here comes Matthews on the near circle shot. That got deflected out in front. Good job by Burton. Pushing and shoving out in front. That pulled back into the far corner by Jackman. Bryce holds it in. Bryce firing it. That tipped away. Burton right back behind the goal. Simmer has it underneath the far circle. Simmer trying to knock it away. That grab. Matthews with the shot. That off the side of the goal. Matthews chases it back behind. Now that centering attempt into the high slot. Spinning with it is Katie German. Katie German, backhanded attempt. Couldn't quite get through all the traffic. That pulled back. Backhanded shot. And in. Katie German with the goal. I believe that actually ended up going off of Sawyer's stick as she was trying to knock it away in a valiant defensive effort. But I believe Katie German should get credit for that goal. That makes it 6-0 at 7:55. Again, a exceedingly short bench as they have just 4 players sitting on the bench for Montana State. Michigan with 13 players on the bench. Timeout call by Montana. We'll take it with them. Let's play. .755 left to go here in the first. Michigan up 6-0 over Montana State, the Bobcats. Wolverines versus Bobcats. First game of 3 here at Salt Lake City. Here at the Salt Lake City Sports Complex, Malashevsky. Perfect, okay. So that's Gail, by the way, who's 19, coming ahead with it. That's my wonderful, amazing camera person, past PR person, Christina Wiseman with it. Kolwich with the shot. That comes in along the far boards, held in by Goldberg. Goldberg trying to send it away as that's fired down by Cairns. Stopped by Proctor. Proctor moves it over. Kolwich picks it up. Kolwich coming down the near boards. Kolwich makes her way over her own blue line. Kolwich over center ice. Kolwich gains the zone. Kolwich outside the far circle. Drops it back to the far point. That deflects off of a skate into the far corner. Jackman trying to get to it. And that's sent ahead by Lonham. Centering attempt, that tipped into the slot. Now backhanded into the high slot. Kolwich with the shot that deflects into the near corner. Malashevsky has it outside the near circle. That's sent back in along the end boards. Swanson with the shot out in front. Tipped and a save by O'Brien. 6:56 left to go. Here in the first, Michigan up 6-0. 16 shots on goal for the Wolverines. 2 for the Bobcats. Face-off is going to be to O'Brien's right in the near face-off circle. Gargiulo in there versus Gale. That puck loose, trying to pull it over. Proctor has it in the near corner. Proctor now on the near circle with the shot. O'Brien with the save. As a little pushing, shoving out in front. Again, Gargiulo in to try and take that face off versus Gale. That comes back to the near point. That shot by Levinson. Good block by Gale. Bouncing puck. And along the near boards, that's sent back into the neutral zone. Bringing ahead Fondle. Fondle sends it deep. That's sticked into the far corner by Ponif. Chasing it, Proctor brings it over on blue line. Proctor coming down the far boards, over the neutral zone. Proctor has it outside the far circle. That poke checked away as Fondle gets it right back out into the neutral zone. Michigan chips it into the far corner. Jackman picks it up there as Michigan gets a line change. 6:15 left to go here in the first. Michigan up 6-0. We'll have offsides the call. Delayed offsides as Michigan was unable to clear the zone and come back in on the offsides. As they get an exclamation from the linesman. Rubin in to take the face-off. Lonham on the other side. That move back. Katie German bringing it in along the near boards. Coming ahead with it. Shot. That deflects. Loose. Trying to pull it away as Gargiulo has it back behind the goal. Or excuse me, that pulling ahead. Remelius. There's a shot and a save as Evans had it just on the far side of the goal. 5:52 left to go here in the first. 6-0. To see some nice Michigan fans coming back, and we thank a nice message from Mike Thomas back in Ann Arbor. Thank you. The Gargiulo family is here watching and cheering. And we appreciate that. Great to see him as they're from California. We don't get to see him often. That deflected into the far corner. Matthews has it outside the far circle. Matthews sweeps it back to the far point. Katie German, that deflects. Trying to backhand it. That tipped away and along the near boards. Bringing it back. Gale trying to get it out of the zone. That kept in by Bryce. Fired it. That tipped back. Bryce holds it in at the near point again. That slips back in along the end boards. Gale trying to grab it. And pulled away by Goldman. Aldrich trying to peel it off of the far boards. And that loose over Matthews. Backhanded shot and a save by O'Brien. 5:03 left to go here in the first. 6-0. Michigan with the lead. 19 shots on goal by the Wolverines. 2 by the Bobcats. Face off in the far face-off circle. Malashevsky in versus Lonham. And pull back, tipped right back to the blue line. Aldrich brings it ahead. Aldrich over center ice. Here comes the Bobcats. Aldrich loses it, then fires it in deep. And in along the end boards of the Michigan zone. Gathered up by Goldberg, back behind Poneth. Underneath the near circle, Michigan chips it ahead. In along the near boards of the neutral zone, Jackman has it. Now Manning fires it deep into the Bobcat zone. Manning chasing it. That tipped away by Jackman outside the near circle. And Malashevsky with it there. That's sent back to Kolwich at the near point. Kolwich sends it into the near corner. Manning has it there. Manning feeds it from the near side to the far side. Swanson right back behind the goal. Swanson battling in along the end board. Swanson banks it off the far boards. That picked up by Fondle, but held in by Michigan. High slot. Moving over, Swanson has it. Tipped away on the near circle. Swanson into the near corner. Comes outside the near circle. Swanson underneath the near circle, trying to feed it out in front. That puck loose. Pulled back by Jackman. Outside the near circle it goes. Kolwich trying to battle for it. Manning into the near corner. That's swept all the way around the boards by Jackman. Held in by Goldberg at the far point. Manning chases it right back behind O'Brien. Battling back there with Atkins, trying to fire it over to Kolwich. Kolwich with a backhanded shot that just goes wide to the far side. Here comes Gale with it, Aldrich with it. Aldrich gets it out to center ice. Fondle gains his own. Fondle with a shot and a save by Proctor. Number 20, Fondle, that's the highest point getter for the Bobcats. 3:26 left to go here in the first, 6-0. Michigan with the lead. Face off in the far face-off circle. That to Poneth's right. As Gale wins it back to the far point to Jackman. Jackman with the shot. That deflects. Shot saved by Poneth. Battle for it. That comes back underneath. Here comes Gargiulo. Gargiulo underneath the near circle over to Thomas. Thomas moves it ahead. Gaining the zone is Gargiulo. Gargiulo on the near circle. Backhanded rising shot. That underneath the far circle. Gargiulo gets it in the far corner. Gargiulo on that far circle trying to get it over to Thomas. That's sent back to the blue line and out into the neutral zone. Reed has it there. Reed feeds it down the far boards and knocked away and sent back deep by Gale. Rims all the way around the boards. Thomas picks it up outside the near circle trying to fire it over. And fired in by Cairns, but knocked away. Here comes Michigan. Lindahl over center ice. Lindahl gains the zone. On the far circle, Lindahl goes back behind the goal. Now Lindahl outside the near circle. Lindahl centering attempt. There's a shot by Evans that went high. Off the glass. Banked ahead. Aldrich trying to get it out of the zone. Held in by Katie German. Now into the slot. Lindahl with a shot. That puck loose and steered into the near corner. Evans has it outside the near circle. Evans moves it back. Lindahl on the near circle. There's a shot and covered up and saved by O'Brien. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to go here in the first. 6-0. Michigan with the lead. Face off in the near face off circle. Matthews in to take the face off. Romelius to her left. Simmer to her right, Bryce and Katie German. On the blue line, looks like O'Brien trying to get her helmet fixed. I think she has it set. She's faced 21 shots on goal. So despite the score, she has 15 saves already in this early game, playing tough between the pipes. Romelius, that tipped over her stick all the way back into the neutral zone. Matthews gathers it in, comes down the far boards, gaining the zone. That sent back into the neutral zone. Here comes Fondle over center ice. Fondle gains the Michigan zone. Fondle with the shot. That got blocked by Katie German. Simmer into the far corner, trying to send it ahead. Outside the far circle, Aldrich takes it in along the end boards, right back behind Poneth. Aldrich has it into the near corner. That pulled away by Matthews. Matthews trying to rim it around. That got caught in Aldrich's skates. Now here comes Katie German. Ricochets it ahead to Rubin. Rubin, that got right knocked off the door to the Michigan bench. Loose puck right at center ice. Trying to bring it right back in with Sawyer. That deflected to center ice. Now Aldrich fires it deep into the near corner. Bryce gathered his in, back behind Poneth, feeds it down the far boards. That's sent ahead to Matthews, now back over. Michigan And tipped off of his stick, and now Atkins brings it ahead. Intercepted right at center ice by Matthews. Matthews coming down the far boards, goes over center ice and backhands it deep as she goes for a line change. Jackman knocks it off of the far boards. Now bringing it ahead is Cairns, and deflected right back into the Bobcat zone. Off of the near boards, Atkins trying to get it there. In along the near boards of the neutral zone, that slips right back into the Michigan zone. Kolwich chases it. That gathered in by Goldberg. Goldberg rims it all the way around the boards. Over to Swanson. Swanson pinned against the boards. That brought back by Michigan. Now Goldberg underneath the far circle. Gets it over to Kolwich underneath the near circle of her own zone. Ahead to Manning. Manning feeds it. Here comes Malashevsky over center ice. Malashevsky gains his zone. Outside the near circle, Malashevsky goes back behind O'Brien. Feeds it out in front to Manning with a shot. That went high into the near corner. Kolwich has it there. Kolwich has it tipped away. That puck comes outside the near circle. Malashevsky gathers it in. Malashevsky going in along the end boards. Feeds it onto the far circle. That deflected away. Held in by Goldberg, and that will do it for the first period. So at the end of one, Michigan 6 and the Bobcats nothing. You're watching Michigan Women's Hockey, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. We're going to step away, play a little bit of music, and we will be right back with your ACHA Intermission Scoreboard Report. As let's do an ACHA intermission scoreboard report, taking a look all the way back on November 11th. It was Liberty beating Adrian by a score of 6-5. University of Utah doubled up Colorado State University 4-2. It was Grand Canyon University over University of Denver 7-1. Maryville University beat McHenry University by a score of 3-1. Midland shut out Minot University 4-0. And Miami University doubled up Lindenwood 4-2. 6-0, Indiana Tech shut out University of Rhode Island, and it was Lake Superior State beating Davenport 14-2, and that would have been their first win. So they are now 2-8 on the season. Let's move over to Saturday, November 12th, as Aquinas beat Grand Valley by a score of 3-2. It was Liberty shutting out Adrian by a score of 4-0. Utah beat Colorado State University 8-2. It was Grand Canyon beating University of Denver 7-3. Grand Canyon University also played and beat University of Colorado 5-4. It ended up in a 2-2 tie in overtime between Minot and Midland. In Oxford, it was Miami hosting Lindenwood University. Lindenwood won that one 4-3. It was Indiana Tech beating University of Rhode Island 8-1. McHenry University beat Concordia 4-3, and it was Lake Superior State shutting out Davenport by a score of 11-0. Moving on to November 13th. 6-0 Air Force, or 6-2 Air Force beat Wyoming. It was 4-2 Grand Valley State over Aquinas. 3-2 Colorado beating Grand Canyon University. Miami University swept the University of Rhode Island with a score of 7-3. And McHenry University beat Concordia by a score of 4-1. Moving on to see if there are any midweek games that week. And now to games that happened yesterday. A couple games happened yesterday. Minnesota fell. Midland University beat Minnesota 6-2, and it was Utah beating this Montana State University team 16-4. So high-powered University of Utah team that we saw at Yost Ice Arena. We'll see how things go playing that game tomorrow. By the way, the 4 goals were 2 by Gale, 2 by Fondle in that game for the Bobcats. Other games happening today. Let's see if anything has been reported. Grand Canyon is hosting Colorado State University. Minnesota hosting Midland. Arizona State is hosting Colorado State. It's a final. Liberty beat Marysville by a score of 5-1 as Liberty continues to roll 8-0. University of Massachusetts Amherst beat University of Utah by a score of 5-1. Aquinas is hosting Concordia. It was a final. Indiana Tech beating Adrian College by a score of 3-0. Wyoming is hosting Denver. McHenry is hosting Lindenwood. And, of course, this game here. That is your ACHA scoreboard report. As here at the first intermission, it is 6-0. Michigan with the lead over Montana State University. Again, very short bench for the Bobcats as they have only 11 players, and Michigan with a much bigger bench. They actually have 11 players on the bench at any given time. Let's play just a little bit more music, and then we will head back live. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left before we hit for the second period. You are listening to Michigan Women's Hockey, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. And we will pause that as Michigan heads back out onto the ice for the second period, as it is Michigan 6 and Montana State nothing. 22 shots on goal for the Wolverines in that first period. 4 by the Bobcats. It started off Michigan goal at 17:55 as Gargiulo put it in. Then there was a Bobcat penalty that at 16:32. 10 seconds later, Swanson put it in for a Michigan goal on the power play at 16:22. A hooking penalty happened to Atkins at 15:20. Then Michigan on the power play scored as it was Matthews from Gargiulo at 14:25. Then Michigan took a penalty, interference to Goldberg at 13:21. At 10:32, Michigan with the goal. Thomas put it in. Then at 7:47, it was Lindahl scoring. And the final score at 7:55 was Katie German. We want to say a big hello to one of our goal scorers' grandmothers, as Kelsey Swanson hails from Traverse City, and her grandmother, Sue Swanson, is watching back there. We want to thank her very, very much. As her parents here watching as well, and we love to see that. That comes back. Gathered in along the near boards, trying to fire it ahead is Fondle. That's sent back Michigan right at their blue line. Matthews brings it right back behind her own goal, coming in along the near board. Simmer trying to knock it ahead. Vermont had it. Now here comes Katie German. Katie German brings it over the far boards ahead to Simmer. Simmer comes over center ice. Simmer brings down onto the near circle. Simmer coming in. Simmer with a shot. And no goal. Goal waved off. O'Brien with the save. 19:32 left to go here in the second period. Michigan up 6-0. Face-off in the near face-off circle. That is going to be to O'Brien's left. Malashevsky in to take the face-off. As that looks like Lanham on the other side. That comes back to the near point. Reed. No, hold it in. That puck coming around. Swanson trying to tip it back in. As the puck onto the near circle. Swanson bringing in. Shot! And a goal. Swanson puts it in. So right after we say hello to Sue Swanson, her grandmother, Swanson nets her second goal of the game. Must have been good luck there as Michigan goal. That at 19:18. And Michigan is up 7-0 on the Bobcats. Face off at center ice. And sent back to Reed. Reed firing it in along the far boards to Levinson. Michigan brings it ahead. Swanson has it. That tipped away in along the near boards. Trying to pull it back is Malashevsky on the near circle. Malashevsky in the high slot for Romelius. Romelius banks it back to Levinson at the far point. Levinson, that fire deep, comes right back behind the goal now outside the near circle. Malashevsky gets it back to Reed. Reed trying to fire it ahead. Here comes Swanson with it. Swanson goes right back behind the goal. Underneath the far circle, she goes with it. Swanson ahead. Malashevsky. That got tipped back into the neutral zone. Reed moving it over to Levinson. Levinson ahead to Swanson. Knocked away by Lum. Tipped away. Here comes Swanson over center ice. Swanson gains the zone. Swanson on the far circle. Drop pass. Looking for Thomas, who had just gone a little deeper as Lum had it. Lum ahead. Now Swanson fires it deep as that goes right back behind the goal into the near corner. Gargiulo keeps it in at the near point. Gargiulo battling. Now Goldberg trying to get it. Lum had it. And fired ahead by Kolwich. Tipped by Gargiulo. That comes outside the far circle. Proctor moves it back to Thomas. Thomas backhands it right out in front. Proctor with the shot. Save by O'Brien. Bringing that ahead. That tip back as Fondle had it. Here comes Gargiulo. And Atkins got her stick in the way. That sent that up into the netting. 7-0 Michigan with the lead. 17:43 left to go here in the second period. Face off in the near face off circle. That is going to be to O'Brien's left. Rubin in to take the face off. On the other side is Gale. Top of the near circle it goes. Back over to Goldberg at the near point. Goldberg sends it in along the end boards. Rocketed ahead by Jackman and along the near boards. And to pull that back away, centering attempt. Now Lindahl with a shot. Saved by O'Brien. Jackman trying to feed it down the far boards. Vermont had it tipped away. Now Atkins battling Kolwich right back behind her own goal. That puck right out into the slot. And fired all the way down into the neutral zone. Lindahl has it at her own blue line. Lindahl starts the rush for Michigan again over center ice. Lindahl gains the zone over on the far circle. Lindahl comes in. O'Brien with the save. That puck outside the far circle. Lindahl with it there. Lindahl back to the far point. Now Matthews grabs it right back behind the goal outside the near circle. Matthews. And moved back. Now Bryce with it. That shot got tipped away by Fondel. DeCrazy has it outside the far circle. DeCrazy back to the far point. DeCrazy puts it into the far corner. Now Simmer moves it over to DeCrazy. Puck wouldn't settle down. Goes into the near corner. Pulling it back. Matthews outside the near circle. And Simmer in the near corner. Feeds it onto the near circle. DeCrazy with it there. DeCrazy trying to fire it right into the slot. That slips all the way back into the neutral zone as it's a foot race. Vermont trying to get to it, but Katie German gets to it first, puts it back behind Poneth. 16-12 left to go here in the second, 7-0. Michigan with the lead. That puck in along the far boards of the Michigan zone. Katie German has it there. Katie German bringing it ahead. Katie German goes over her own blue line. Katie German trying to send it past onto the far circle. Katie German puts it into the slot. Matthews lost an edge, and that gathered in. Coming the other direction is Aldrich. Aldrich moves it over. Lonham had it. Then knocked back in along the end boards. Outside the near circle it goes to Aldrich. Aldrich. Centering attempt. That knocked back over to Simmer. Simmer over her own blue line. Simmer sends it down the near board. Simmer racing into the zone outside the near circle. Simmer into the near corner trying to knock it away from Atkins. Atkins pops that away, but Malashevsky gets it out underneath the far circle. Malashevsky puts it into the far corner for Manning. Manning comes outside the far circle. Manning has that tipped away. Grabbed by Malashevsky in the far corner. Malashevsky in along the end boards. Sends it back in along the far board. And gathered in, trying to fire it out in front. Picked up by Aldrich. Aldrich starts the rush the other direction. Being watched by Reed. Right at the center ice. That knocked away by Manning, but sent deep by Cairns. Sent the other direction all the way back. And Michigan trying to get to it. That gathered in. As Swanson has it right back behind the goal. She tangles with Atkins. Outside the far circle, Gale trying to get it out of the zone. Malashevsky has it back to the far point. Here comes Michigan on the far circle. That shot got deflected in along the end boards. Levinson has it on the far circle. Levinson skating in with it. Levinson backhanded shot. Saved by O'Brien. 14:24 left to go here in the second period. 7-0. Michigan with the lead over the Bobcats. Face-off in the far face-off circle. We are a all-volunteer-run organization. If you're watching the feed on ArborBroadcasting.com, there's a little donate button if you want to feel inclined to donate down at the bottom of the video. There's a shot from the far circle by Remelius. O'Brien with the save. And sent ahead by Jackman. Michigan trying to hold it in. That slips all the way back to the Michigan blue line. Goldberg has it there, coming in along the near boards. Knocks it ahead to Proctor. Proctor gains the zone. Proctor outside the near circle. Proctor comes in with it. Shot. Saved by O'Brien. 13:59 left to go here in the second period. Michigan up 7-0. Shots on goal, 29 for Michigan, 4 for the Bobcats. Face off to O'Brien's left in the near face off circle. Rubin in to take the face off. That comes loose. Trying to get it is Lindahl. Lindahl. And moved and put in, and a goal by Lindahl. Makes it 8-0. Michigan with the lead. Lindahl's second goal of the game. That at 13:52. Face off at center ice. That comes back to Goldberg. Goldberg ricochets it off the near boards. Lindahl coming in with it. Lindahl backhanding. Blockers save that into the far corner. Lindahl with it there. Outside the far circle, Lindahl. That tipped right back behind the goal. Rubin trying to fire it. That went off the side of the goal. Coming back. Deflected. Jackman sends it all the way around the boards. Held in by Goldberg. That deflects off of a defender. Gathered in and heading the other direction is Cairns. Collected by Kolwich. Coming ahead with it. Here comes Aldrich. Aldrich loses the handle as it comes in along the near boards of the neutral zone. Jackman firing it ahead. Now Goldberg gets it over to Lindahl. Lindahl gains his own high slot. Lindahl makes a nifty move. Comes in. That's saved by O'Brien into the near corner. Aldrich picks it up there underneath the near circle. Aldrich back behind her own goal. Firing it around the boards. That held in by Katie German at the far point. Loose on the far circle. Matthews has it outside the far circle. Battling with Aldrich. Matthews sends it back. Oh, Katie German trying to reach over, but she had come in from that far point. She goes all the way back into her own zone. Trying to avoid pressure by Aldrich. Gets it over to Bryce. Now ahead to DeCreasy. DeCreasy backhands it over to Matthews. Matthews gains his own outside the near circle. Into the near corner. And sent back loose on the near circle. Aldrich brings it away. Knocked away by DeCreasy. Trying to pull it off the boards. That went wide. Outside the far circle it goes. Katie German holds it in at the far point. Katie German fires it. That outside the far circle. And setting up DeCreasy for a one-timer that puck wouldn't settle down as that puck in the near corner. Pull back ahead into the neutral zone. The puck slides back in along the far boards of the Michigan zone. 11:56 left to go. Here in this, the second period, 8-0, Michigan with the lead. That puck deflected by Aldrich, holding it in. Now Simmer fires it ahead. DeCreasy gaining it at center ice. DeCreasy top of the far circle. That poke checked away by Atkins into the far corner. Matthews gathers it in outside the far circle. Matthews goes high slot, now comes over onto the near circle. Matthews coming in with a shot and a save by O'Brien. 11:29 left to go here in the second. 8-0, Michigan with the lead. First game of 3 here at the Salt Lake City Sports Complex. Tomorrow's game will start half an hour earlier, 4:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 Michigan time. That puck on the far circle. Manning moves it over. Malashevsky, and Malashevsky puts it in for a goal. Malashevsky makes it 9-0. That at 11:18. Face off right at center ice. Coming back, controlled by Atkins. Atkins brings it in along the near boards. Swept ahead. Now Malashevsky chases it in along the end boards of her own zone. Malashevsky back behind her own goal. That puck is pulled away by Gale. Loose in the slot. That comes over onto the near circle. Penalty upcoming. Whistle blown. Slashing the call. That at 11 minutes even. So that will come down into the Michigan zone. Or, excuse me, into the Bobcat zone. Trying to see who took that penalty. They didn't put it on the board there. Perfect. Oh, and they just put it on the board. So Gale with it. That's sent into the near corner. Michigan on the power play. Michigan. And moved outside the near circle. Aldrich trying to knock that away. Evans sends it top of the far circle. As now Rubin on the far circle gets the feed from Katie German out in front. Katie German races over onto the near circle to get it. Katie German feeds it back to Evans at the blue line. Evans with a shot that deflects. And a goal by Evans. And it's going to make it 9, or it should be 10. Michigan up 10-0. Evans with the goal. There we go. That at 10. 32. power play goal, third power play goal of the game for the Wolverines. At 10:32 left to go. Michigan up 10-0. 33 shots on goal for the Wolverines. 4 for Montana State. That means O'Brien has stopped 23 shots on goal. And that comes all the way back. That'll be icing. That'll head back into the Michigan zone. It's no fun to have stopped 23 shots on goal and still look up and see the score, but Montana State battling hard, and excellent work by O'Brien. Face-off in the far face-off circle. That DePonet's left. Gargiulo in to take the face-off versus Gale. And it comes high, slot, shot, and a save by Poneth. 10:19 left to go here in the second. 10-0 Michigan with the lead. Face-off to Poneth's right in the near face-off circle. Gargiulo versus Gale, 2:19s. In the face-off circle, that comes back to Jackman at the near point shot. That got stuck in Gargiulo's skates. Now bringing it over Michigan. Feeds it to the blue line. Held in by Jackman. Now Fondel sends it back in. Michigan has it in along the near boards. Ahead to Proctor. Proctor trying to bring it out of the zone. Proctor trying to avoid Fondel. Proctor over on blue line. Proctor over center ice. Proctor racing down high slot. Proctor with the shot that just goes wide. Gargiulo tips it in along the end boards into the near corner. And swept back. Gargiulo with it underneath the near circle. Gargiulo. And top of the near circle through the slot. Gargiulo backhanded shot. And she scores! Gargiulo makes it 11-0 Michigan. At 9:40. Face-off right at center ice. Rubin in to take the face-off. That comes in. And along the blue line, Bryce feeds it ahead. Now Remelius, that goes just wide. Into the near corner now, outside the near circle. Lindahl with it. Lindahl backhands it, stopped and saved by O'Brien. Face-off will come into the far face-off circle. Rubin in to take the face-off. On the other side, Lonham. That deflects into the far corner. Here comes Remelius. Remelius sends it in along the end boards, trying to feed it out in front was Rubin. The puck on the goal, now coming back underneath the far circle. Rubin coming in, that slips right through the crease. Rubin loses an edge, trying to make her way through the crease. Now coming over Lindahl. Lindahl goes from the near side to the far side, trying to feed it in front. And puck gathered in by Katie German. And spinning underneath the near circle. As there is a Wolverine down. As Montana State all took a quick knee. And it's going to be Remelius who slowly gets up as she was on her belly for a moment and now makes her way over to the ice. Hopefully, we're going to hope it's nothing serious. Michigan still missing Izzy German, who's working her way on the men, trying to do some PT and get back. And we all wish Izzy German the quickest recovery she can have. The officials talk things over. Now head over to talk to Coach Tribbs. Coach Tribbiano, Inman, and Glisson over on the bench, making the trip for Michigan. Coach Tribbiano letting her have a good discussion with the officials over there. We appreciate you watching wherever you're at, whichever team you are rooting for. Thank you so very, very much for your support of these two wonderful teams and the fantastic sport of women's hockey. The ACHA Utah men's team is facing off versus Bozeman on the other sheet of ice right behind us. That tipped off half an hour before our game. That brought back to center ice. Fed ahead by Reed, chasing it. DeCreasy trying to get it down outside the far circle. Loose, bouncing puck. Picked up and fired ahead by Sawyer. Now coming ahead, Fondle has it tipped away. Jackman banks it off the near board. Simmer knocks it away. Simmer gains his own. Simmer, top of the near circle. Simmer comes underneath the circle, putting it into the slot. That pulled away. Coming ahead with its Gale down the far boards. Gale gets it, trying to feed it ahead to Fondle. That comes into the near corner. 8:15 left to go here in the second. 11-0. Michigan with the lead. That puck deflected. Here comes DeCreasy. DeCreasy gets on the near circle, comes in. Saved by O'Brien. That puck into the near corner. Good job by O'Brien as DeCreasy was bearing down on her. Simmer rims it all the way back. Levinson trying to gather it outside the far circle. Levinson comes into the far circle. Now puts it in along the M board. Simmer picks it up back behind the goal. Simmer out to the slot that fired, and that shot just went wide. Manning has it. Outside the far circle, Manning gets it over to Malashevsky. Malashevsky back behind the goal. Malashevsky feeds it onto the far circle. Gale knocks it down there. Ahead to Fondle. Fondle gets it back on a given goal. Fondle coming down the far boards. Now Manning intercepts the return pass over on blue line. Knocked away. Manning trying to get back to it. Now Kolwich brings it ahead over center ice. Kolwich gains the zone. Kolwich on the near circle. Drops back, trying to fire it over. High slot for Malashevsky. That shot just went wide. The puck out into the slot. Wouldn't settle down. Here comes Goldberg. Goldberg, that went off of a skate and a whistle. That is going to... Gotcha. Not sure what that signal was. It looked like almost a charging. Looks like Aldrich is going into the box. That's going to be, or is that a too many players on the ice penalty? I didn't get that. So yeah, that goes in. So that's too many players on the ice penalty. So Michigan on the power play at a bench minor on the Bobcats. That at 6:56. Katie German puts it to Evans outside the far circle. Evans gets it high slot. Tipped away. Jackman knocks it off the near boards. Into the near corner it goes. Evans with it there. Back behind, Atkins has it and along the far boards. Outside the far circle, Lindahl has it. Knocked away. Atkins into the far corner. Swanson pulls that away. Swanson moves it back to the far point to Rubin. Rubin, top of the near circle for Katie German. Outside the near circle to Evans. Evans moves it into the near corner. Swanson underneath the near circle. That gets deflected high. Outside the far circle it goes. Gathered in at the far point by Rubin. Rubin sends it into the far corner. Swanson coming in along the M boards with it. Swanson back to Rubin at the far point. Over to Katie German at the blue line. And Swanson looked for a deflection to put it in. Rubin in the far circle. And sent back. Swanson holds it in at the far point. Battle for it at the blue line. Now Lindahl gets it to Evans on the near circle shot. And another save by O'Brien. Lindahl underneath the near circle, all the way back to the far point as Evans feeds it into the far corner. Now Rubin has it. Rubin feeds it in along the M boards, right back behind. Over to Katie German, top of the near circle. Katie German trying to get it over to Swanson. Swanson has it back behind the goal. Outside the far circle, back over to Swanson underneath the far circle. Now trying to come in with it, Gargiulo. Gargiulo moves it back outside the far circle. As Swanson puts that puck into the far corner. Spinning with it, Gargiulo. Gargiulo moves, firing it into the slot. Shot and a goal. As that was Proctor who put it in for Michigan, making it 12-0. That, I believe on the power play it was. That at 5:07, Proctor's goal makes it 12-0 Michigan with the lead here in the second. Matthews fires that in along the far boards. DeCreasy trying to pull it in. That tipped away. The puck over to Simmer. Now brought in. Here comes Michigan. DeCreasy coming in. Oh, that hit a post. Off of the near circle it goes. Rimmed all the way around by Aldrich. Trying to get it over to Gale. Held in by Levinson at the far point. That comes right back behind the Montana State goal. Now DeCreasy up. Puck went south. I think Aldrich got her stick in the way. Coming back to Reed in along the near boards. Reed feeds it back to DeCreasy in along the far board. She moves it over to Levinson. Levinson at her own blue line. Ahead to DeCreasy, who sweeps it deep into the Bobcat zone. Sawyer underneath the far circle puts it all the way around the boards. Held in at the far point by Michigan. That puck deflects off the end boards. Comes outside the near circle. Trying to grab it is Aldrich. Now Reed holds it in. Reed trying to get it over to Manning. That went off of her skate. Aldrich brings it over her blue line. Aldrich ricochets it off the near boards. Coming in. Lonham had it. Now back. Manning the other direction. Here comes Michigan. Back over to Manning. Manning with a shot. And knocked down. Trying to pull that away. The puck outside the far circle. Swanson trying to track it down. And loose on the far circle goes Swanson trying to fire it out in front, and O'Brien the save. 3:41 left to go here in the second. 12-0 Michigan with the lead here at the Salt Lake City Sports Complex. One of 3 games Michigan will play this weekend. Tomorrow they face off versus the home team, University of Utah. Then on Sunday they face off versus UMass. Gargiulo versus Gale. Proctor pulls it away. That back to the far point. Kolwich holds it in. In along the end board. Sawyer has it there and knocks it around the boards. Gargiulo outside the far circle. Gargiulo. Now in along the end boards. Gargiulo feeds it into the slot. That held in by Goldberg into the near corner. Now Gargiulo sends it back underneath the far circle. Trying to feed it out in front was Michigan as that pulled back by Thomas. Thomas on the near circle. Thomas into the near corner. Feeding into the slot. Proctor with the shot, and again a save by O'Brien. Atkins brings it right back behind her own goal. Atkins coming down the far boards. Proctor trying to tip it away. Gargiulo has it in the neutral zone. 2 minutes, 55 seconds left to go here in the third. 12-0, Michigan with the lead. The puck outside the near circle. Aldrich bringing it ahead into the neutral zone. Rubin steals it away. Rubin puts it in along the far board. Sawyer knocks it back into center ice from there. That fed ahead. Kolwich picks it up on the far circle. Back behind the Michigan goal. Kolwich coming ahead with it. Here comes Lindahl. Lindahl down the near boards of the neutral zone. Tangling with Atkins. Lindahl on the near circle. Lindahl goes through the slot. Backhanded shot that just goes wide. Lindahl in the far corner. Gets it back to the far point for Kolwich. As Jackman lifts it out to center ice. Goldberg chases it down in her own zone. Goldberg over to Evans. Evans brings it over center ice. Evans gets it ahead to Simmer. Simmer on the near circle. Simmer with the shot. O'Brien with the save. Back to the blue line, but held in by Goldberg. Into the near corner and knocked away from Simmer. Simmer gets it back outside the near circle. Simmer and tipped away by Gale, but Simmer trying to work it away. Now here comes Aldrich the other direction over her own blue line. Aldrich over center ice. Aldrich gains the zone. High slot. Aldrich has that poked away by Matthews, but Aldrich gets it back. Drop pass over to Gale. Gale loses the handle as that goes back into the neutral zone and fired back deep. As the puck gathered back in by Bryce. Bryce has it outside the far circle. Bryce, that went right off of Matthews' back. Got it and ahead to Simmer. Simmer gains the zone outside the near circle. Centering attempt. Backhanded shot by Matthews and a save by O'Brien. 1 minute 17 seconds left to go here in the second. We will have your Michigan scoreboard report at the second intermission. We are so very, very grateful for you folks watching and cheering wherever you are at. Thank you so very, very much. Malashevsky in to take the face-off. That over to Swanson. Swanson has it tipped away into the near corner. Swanson Bringing it in along the M board. Swanson underneath the far circle now. Swanson into the slot for Manning. That got tipped away and sent all the way back to the far point. Bryce feeds it over to Swanson in the far corner. Centering attempt for Manning. That pulled away, and Gale gets it back into the neutral zone. 52 seconds left to go. As that fired ahead here in the second. Manning has it, top of the near circle. Michigan up 12-0, and O'Brien with the save. 40 seconds left to go here in the second period. Michigan up 12-0. Face-off in the near face-off circle. That to O'Brien's left. 44 shots on goal by the Wolverines, 5 for the Bobcats. That comes back to the near point, back into the neutral zone. As Reed chases it over, gets it over to Levinson. Levinson feeds ahead to Thomas. Thomas gains his own. Thomas coming in, top of the far circle. Thomas, shot from the slot. That got deflected off of a skate, all the way back into the neutral zone. 26 seconds left to go. Levinson with it on the far circle. Levinson brings it ahead. Levinson ahead to Proctor. Proctor gains his own at the high slot, or at the high point. That over, shot by Thomas, saved by O'Brien. Now that's the high slot, held in by Michigan. Coming over, Levinson puts it over to Proctor. Backhanded shot, save O'Brien. 3 seconds left to go. 2 seconds, 1 second. And that is the end of the second period. Michigan with the 12-0 lead here at the end of the second period. Let's play a little bit of the victors, and we'll be back with your Michigan Intermission Scoreboard Report. Uh, 13 minutes, 15 seconds left, counting down here at the second intermission. Michigan up 12-0. 44 shots on goal by the Wolverines, 5 by the Bobcats, as it was a Michigan goal. Swanson scored at 19:18 to start off the scoring in the second. Then at 13:52, it was Lindahl putting it in. Then at 11:18, it was Malashevsky scoring for the Maize and Blue. And the Bobcats took a penalty at 11 minutes even. That was a slash on Gale. Michigan scored as Evans put it in at 10:57. Then a Michigan goal at 9:40. That was Gargiulo putting it in. There was a bench minor to the Bobcats. That at 6:56. Then Michigan with the power play goal as Proctor put in her first goal of the game at 5:09. And that puts the Wolverines up 12-0. Let us take a look at your Michigan scoreboard report as we go all the way back, as that moved on me. We go all the way back to Monday, November 7th, as it was men's basketball playing Purdue Fort Wayne. They won 75 to 56. It was women's basketball playing Delaware State. They won 83 to 30. That on Wednesday, November 9th. On Friday, November 11th, women's cross country was at the NCAA Great Lakes Regional. They took third out of 31. Men's cross country was at the NCAA Great Lakes Regional. They took third out of 29. Field hockey played Albany. Yes, it's not Albany, it's Ubany, and they lost in overtime 2-1, as that was in the NCAA first and second rounds. That was the second round, as field hockey had won the Big Ten and trying to make it deep into the NCAAs, but number 16 Ubany ended that run. Wrestling versus Campbell, Michigan won that 26-6, and women's basketball took on St. Francis of Pennsylvania and won that one 91-36. In volleyball, it was Michigan versus Northwestern. Michigan won 3-1, winning the sets 23-25, 25-15, 25-19, and 25-23. In ice hockey, Michigan won the first game of a weekend series. That was at number 18 Notre Dame. They won 5-1. And Eastern Michigan played Michigan basketball over at Little Caesars Arena. Michigan pulled off the win, 88-83. On Saturday, November 12th, it was Michigan beating Nebraska 34-3. In football, ice hockey fell in overtime 3-2 as they had the 2-0 lead into the third. Notre Dame came back, pushed it to overtime, and were able to score and split the series. Volleyball, Illinois beat Michigan 3-1 as it was 27-29, 21-25, 25-22, and 19-25. And Sunday, November 13th, wrestling took on number 16 North Carolina and won 23-12. Let's see if we can advance that, as that was all the way over to the 13th. So if I move this over here to the 14th, nothing happening on the 14th or the 15th. But this past Wednesday, November 16th, men's basketball beat Pittsburgh. That was at the Legends Classic, 91-60. Women's basketball played Western Michigan and won that one 99-67. On Thursday, November 17th, women's swimming and diving was at the Tennessee Invitational, that non-scoring, as well as men's swimming and diving at the Tennessee Invitational. Ice hockey was over at number 2 Minnesota, despite 6 players on the NCAA men's team out with a virus. Michigan played, including everyone, if they could send their thoughts and prayers over to Holtz. Stephen Holtz is now on a ventilator at the Michigan Health System for that virus, and hopefully he gets better. That's always very, very scary. So Michigan shorthanded and fell 5-2. They will play again tonight. Men's basketball versus Arizona State, and Michigan fell there 87-62 at the Legends Classic. Action today, ice hockey, and they won, actually, as that happened earlier today. Michigan beats Minnesota, number 2 Minnesota, 6-3, despite being shorthanded. So that's a fantastic item to see. Other things happening, volleyball is at number 19 Purdue, and men's swimming and diving, women's swimming and diving, both at the Tennessee Invitational. That is your Michigan scoreboard report here at the second intermission in Salt Lake City. It is your Wolverines 12 versus the Bobcats nothing. So 12-goal lead by your Wolverines. Aponith has been superb in net as always. She's only had to face 5 shots, whereas O'Brien on the other side has faced 44 shots. So she has saved 32 of those. Let's play. It is the second period intermission, so you know what time it is. It's time for I Can't Turn You Loose.
Well, good afternoon and welcome once again to the Michigan Amphitheater. You know, so much of the music we hear today is this pre-programmed electronic disco. You never get a chance to hear master bluesmen practicing their craft. By the year 2006, the music now known as the blues will exist only in the classical record department of your local public library. And so, this afternoon, while we still can, let us welcome from Ann Arbor, Michigan, Gary Lewis and his blues band. Gary Lewis and his blues band.
as we're about to get right back into action here. 12-0 Michigan with the lead here in the third period versus the Montana State Bobcats. Despite the score, Montana continuing to press and try and do what they can with a very small bench to battle this maize and blue team who is just humming on the ice. Malashevsky in to take the faceoff versus Gale on the other side. Michigan going from left to right here in this, the third period. As that puck right at center ice, pulling it back to the blue line. Rice sends it ahead. Here comes Manning. Chases it in along the near boards into the near corner. Trying to get it away from Sawyer. That puck comes outside the near circle. And brought back. Tipping it away into the neutral zone was Sawyer. Katie German has it at her own blue line. Sends it down the far boards. Katie German ahead to Malashevsky. Malashevsky comes in on the far circle. Over to Manning with a shot and a save by O'Brien. And then Swanson puts it in on the rebound. O'Brien made a beautiful save as Manning trying to get in on the scoreboard sheet, and Swanson picked up and was in perfect situation to get that goal. She opened up the scoring in the second as well. That is her second goal of this game. And at 19:30. Gargiulo in to take the face off as that tipped, and I believe they're going to grab that as that's probably the first point for Manning, and she'll get an assist on that. As that comes ahead and along the far boards, Proctor trying to pull it away. Proctor gets ahead to Gargiulo. Gargiulo gains his own. Gargiulo outside the far circle. That moved right back behind the goal. Proctor with it there. Proctor trying to feed it underneath the far circle. Now goes from the near side to the far side. Proctor puts it back to the far point. Held in there by Gargiulo. Now bringing it back. And fired right back in. And along the near boards, here comes Aldrich, swept away. Here comes Levinson into the zone, but offsides the call. Face-off will be in the near face-off circle, just outside of the Bobcat zone. 13-0. Need to fix that scoreboard. 13-0. Michigan with the lead. That pulled back to Levinson at center ice. Levinson over to Reed. Reed feeds it ahead. And coming in Lindahl. Lindahl outside the far circle. And pulled away by Gale. Now that shot by Lindahl. The puck in along the end boards. Into the far corner. And sent high slot. Lindahl shot that deflects off. Evans feeds it back outside the far circle for Lindahl. Lindahl back to Evans underneath the far circle. Evans back to the blue line to Reed. That deflects all the way out. Levinson picks it up in the neutral zone. That tipped away. Here comes Fondle on the far circle. Fondle coming in. That knocked away by Poneth. Levinson underneath the far circle. Levinson sends it ahead. Trying to pull it ahead is Evans, trying to get it out of her own zone. And she chips it through. Here comes Michigan down the far boards. Michigan gains the zone, trying to come in. Lindahl puts it in for a goal. Lindahl, that is a hat trick for Lindahl, her third goal of the game. That coming at 17:58. Michigan with the 13-0 lead here. The puck back in along the blue line, bringing it at is Michigan. That in along the near boards to Creasy, trying to get to it. Pulled back by Aldrich. Gathered in by Kolwich right at center ice. Kolwich gains the zone. Top of the far circle for Kolwich, trying to get around Atkins. That slips outside of the zone. Michigan has to touch up to avoid a delayed offsides. DeCreasy gains the zone. Top of the near circle. DeCreasy trying to fly through the far circle. That deflected into the near corner. Slanham had it and brought back outside the near circle. As Aldrich with it. Aldrich comes right back behind the goal. Trying to peel it off of the end boards. Here comes Simmer. Simmer chips it around. That outside the far circle. As Cairns has it there. That held in. Michigan on the far circle. Over to DeCreasy. DeCreasy with the shot. That knocked away by Sawyer. Sawyer brings it ahead. Sawyer over on blue line. Over center ice. Sawyer has that knocked away. Michigan feeds it down the far boards. Goldberg sends it ahead. Jackman picks it up just on the top of the far circle of her own zone. Matthews knocks it down. Fires it right back in deep into the Bobcats' goal as Michigan goes for a line change. Manning coming back out to put on pressure. Aldrich trying to get to it. That held in by Swanson. The puck loose. Bringing it ahead. As that sent in along the far boards. Fondle has it there over center ice. And swept back over. Michigan brings it over their own blue line. Coming ahead with it, Katie German. Katie German gains his own. Katie German outside the far circle, or near circle. Katie German goes from the near side to the far side. Over, shot. Swanson with a shot, trying to knock away Malashevsky. That comes to Manning outside the near circle. Manning underneath the near circle, coming in. Manning into the slot, backhanded pass over. Manning trying to get it underneath the far circle. Over to Malashevsky. Malashevsky. That drifts back behind the goal. Malashevsky now underneath the near circle. And puck over. Swanson with a shot. She goes outside the near circle. Swanson comes top of the near circle. Drop pass over to Bryce. Bryce coming in along the boards. That deflects off the back of the goal. In along the far boards. Gathered in by Fondle. Fondle feeds it all the way ahead. Katie German intercepts it at her own blue line. Katie German knocks it off of the near boards. Bringing it ahead is Malashevsky, who gains his own. Malashevsky outside the near circle. Now in along the end boards. That puck slides all the way outside the far circle. Thomas with it there. And pulled down, bringing it ahead is Jackman over on blue line. Down the far boards of the neutral zone. Poke checked away, but Jackman got it back. Now here comes Michigan. Here comes Thomas. Thomas on the far circle. She comes outside the far circle, giving just a little bit more time for the rest of the team to come in. Here comes Levinson with the shot that just goes wide. Michigan has Proctor trying the Michigan. That goes far to the left-hand side. Proctor trying that lacrosse-style goal. Wouldn't settle down for her. Now Gargiulo comes underneath the far circle. Back over to Proctor, back behind the goal. Proctor again trying the Michigan. Wouldn't settle down on her stick. That held in at the blue line. Bouncing puck coming in. Here comes Proctor with the backhanded shot. That off the side of the net. Proctor back to Levinson at the near point. Levinson coming in into the high slot. That moved over. Reed has it outside the far circle with the shot. That deflects out in front. Now coming back, Proctor. Back over to Gargiulo on the near circle. 14-18 left to go here in the third. 14-0, Michigan with the lead. Now Proctor coming back, trying a wraparound attempt. That covered up. She almost got the Michigan a couple times, as that's where Mike Legg famously did that against, I think, Boston College in the regionals, where you put pressure on it, you pull it up like a lacrosse-style goal, and you just dump it in off your stick up on the top of the goal. Mike Legg did it and therefore named the Michigan off after him. That comes over, tipped away, loose on the near circle. Back to the near point, trying to come in Lindahl. Lindahl high slot, she's run off of the puck. Fondle sends it back out to center ice. Trying to get it ahead to Gale. A penalty now upcoming. As into the box goes Goldberg. Hooking the call against Goldberg. At 13:52. So Montana State is on the power play as that puck comes top of the near circle, bringing it over. Here comes Matthews, feeds it in along the far boards. Katie German gets it out of the zone. Fired right back to the blue line, but a whistle, and that is going to be a slashing call. And we're going to go right to 4-on-4 hockey as Gale goes into the box for slashing. So 10-second power play for Montana State. Now we're going to go to 4-on-4 hockey at 13:41. As that should come back into, typically if that was a Montana State penalty, it should come back into the Montana State zone. Looks like they're going to keep it on the far face-off circle, though. Matthews in to take the face-off. On the other side is Fondle. That puck brought back to center now, bringing it in as Sawyer. Sawyer gains his own. Sawyer. That shot just goes wide, back behind Pontiff. Katie German has it in along the far boards. Moves ahead to Matthews. Here comes Rubin. Rubin skating down the ice. Coming in on the far circle. Shot! That is save. Comes outside the near circle. Matthews into the near corner. I believe that was actually Simmer. Oh, Cevallos. Coming back over. In along the end boards. Matthews with it. Matthews back behind the goal. Matthews underneath the far circle. Can 4-on-4 hockey for 1 minute, 17 seconds. Michigan will have a 10-second power play after that. Brights with the shot. Out in front. Simmer trying to chip it away. Matthews puts it in as Simmer with the shot. O'Brien with the save. But Matthews gets it in there, making it 15-0. And at 13 minutes even, neither of the penalties expired because it's an even strength goal. That is Matthews' second goal of the game. 52 shots on goal by the Wolverines, 5 for Montana State. O'Brien has really played, as much as she's gotten pepper, played well. DeCrazy with the shot. O'Brien with yet another save. Rubin has it outside the far circle. Rubin trying to fire it back deep. That puck comes back to the far point. Reed holding it in there. Reed coming in. That puck loose on the far circle, and that fired all the way down the ice. That should be icing as we are at even strength. It's not. It's waved off, which is fine. That comes back over. Levinson has it back behind her own goal. That fed ahead, tipped all the way back. That will be icing and go back into the Michigan zone. 35 seconds more of 4-on-4 hockey. Then Michigan with the short 10-second power play. Face-off will be in the far face-off circle. That to Pontiff's right. Or nope, into the near face-off circle. That to Pontiff's left. Lanham in to take the face-off versus Rubin. That into the slot. Here comes DeCrazy over on blue line. DeCrazy gets back behind the defense. DeCrazy with the breakaway. DeCrazy comes in, saved by O'Brien. As that puck comes back to the blue line, held in. Reed with the shot. Oh, that just goes wide. Outside the near circle it goes. Here comes Levinson in along the end boards from the near side to the far side. Levinson with the shot. O'Brien with yet another save. 12 seconds more of 4-on-4 hockey. 15-0. Michigan with the lead. 12:03 left to go here in the third. Face-off will be in the near face-off circle. Malashevsky in to take the face-off. Fondle on the other side. That puck loose. Bryce has it top of the near circle. Shot. O'Brien with the save. Swanson gets it underneath the far circle. Goes back behind the net. Swanson underneath the near circle she goes. Swanson moves it back to the near point for Bryce. Bryce feeds it. One-timer. Let go just wide by Katie German. That had a little pepper to it. Swanson comes underneath the near circle. Backhanded attempt. Got knocked down by Atkins. Loose. Malashevsky trying to get it. Puck loose on the near circle. Both teams back to full strength now as Atkins feeds it ahead over her own blue line. That brought into the Michigan zone. Malashevsky chases it into the near corner. That brought back over. Katie German trying to get to it as Manning trying to tip it away. That held in at the far point. That puck deflects off the end boards. Bryce trying to chase it. Pulled back over by Fondle outside the far circle. That good job deflecting that by Manning. Banked off of the near boards, and that comes all the way back. Atkins picks it up in her own zone. Atkins sweeps it along the far boards. Manning gathers it in there. Manning on the far circle, trying to get it over to Malashevsky. Sawyer gets her stick in the way, and that comes outside the far circle again. Now moving it into the slot. That deflects back and bringing it ahead. 10 minutes, 40 seconds left to go here in the third. Tripping call coming up to Michigan as Atkins got tangled up. Hooking call, excuse me. That at 10. 35. It's going to be Kolwich in the box. That puck in along the M boards. Levinson has it back behind the Michigan goal. Levinson. And in along the far boards, Proctor has it. Proctor bringing it over the far circle of her own zone. Over center ice. Proctor coming down those far boards. Proctor on the far circle. Proctor shoots and scores. Proctor puts it in. Short-handed goal for Michigan. Made 16-0. That at 10-14, unassisted. Proctor puts it in. It is her second goal of the game. At least according to my quick notes, that's nothing. Don't take that as Bible. Coming over and along the near boards is Atkins. Atkins brings it, trying to get it over on blue line. Atkins comes over center ice. Atkins has Proctor trying to knock it away. That lifted in. Poneth puts it in along the end boards. Now that out to the far circle, held in by Sawyer. Proctor tips it, gets it over. Here comes Michigan. Racing ahead with it. Michigan gains the zone as Gargiulo on the far circle with the shot. That goes outside the near circle. Atkins has it there. Atkins pulling it ahead. 1 minute, 5 seconds left to go on the Michigan penalty. Gargiulo on the far circle. Drop pass over to Thomas. Thomas, shoot! And loose in the slot. Now Levinson holds it in, tipping it in along the far boards. Fondle trying to get to it. Thomas pins it against the boards. Fondle comes away with it, moving it over to Gale. Gale brings it ahead. Gale with a shot from the blue line. That deflected wide. 44 seconds left to go in the Michigan penalty kill. 9:15 left to go here in the third. 16-0, Michigan with the lead. Katie German, top of the near circle. Katie German. Her shot got deflected off of Sawyer's skates as it goes into the near corner. Katie German pinned against the boards, trying to pull that away. That's fired back, held in at the near point. Now it slips past. And brought all the way back as Bryce will grab it in along the M boards. 17 seconds left to go in the power play. And in along the near boards, here comes Thomas. Thomas over center ice. Thomas feeds it ahead. That tipped off a Rubin stick and goes deep. 5 seconds left to go in the Michigan penalty kill. Now that brought ahead Michigan back to full strength. 8 minutes, 30 seconds left to go as that puck saucers in along the end boards of the Michigan zone. Michigan up 16-0 here in the third as that puck poked right to the blue line. Now Matthews brings it ahead. Matthews one-on-one with the defense. DeCreasy to the left-hand side. Oh, trying to backhand it over to DeCreasy, and that went off of his skate. DeCreasy picks it up into the near corner. DeCreasy trying to pull it away underneath the near circle. Back over to Matthews. Now DeCreasy rims it around the boards. And over to Simmer. Simmer pinned against the end boards by Jackman. Simmer firing it through the slot. That lifted. Banked off of the far boards. Reed chases it back in along the neutral zone. Reed ahead to DeCreasy. That pulled in by Matthews. 7:43 left to go. Matthews with a shot off the side of the net. Pulled back by Simmer underneath the near circle. Simmer brings it top of the near circle. That shot got deflected. And off of Lanum's skate. Matthews with it. Backhanded shot in the slot. That's saved by O'Brien. Now Atkins underneath the near circle. Spinning, trying to get away from Matthews' pressure. Atkins backhands it. That ahead and swept all the way down the ice. As icing waved off, picked up back behind the goal. Here comes Michigan. Spinning with it, DeCreasy goes from the near side to the far side. DeCreasy ricochets it off the far boards, held in by Sawyer. That outside the far circle. Malashevsky puts it ahead. Here comes Swanson down the far boards, gaining the zone. Swanson outside the far circle. Swanson stops, trying to feed it over to Malashevsky. Backhanded shot. And loose. O'Brien trying to get a handle on it. Still loose out in front. Manning trying to get to it. As that puck underneath the far circle brought back. Top of the far circle it goes. That out in front and a save by O'Brien. 6 minutes, 32 seconds left to play here in this, the third period. 57 shots on goal by the Wolverines as they have been just peppering O'Brien. Malashevsky in to take the faceoff. 16-0. Wolverines with the lead. Here comes Fondel over center ice. That poked away. Now Malashevsky gains his own. And over to Matthew Manning. Manning has it knocked away. And along the near boards as Aldrich chases it into the near corner. That back behind the goal, trying to bring it around. Kolwich has it, top of the near circle. Kolwich goes high, slot, loses the handle. That comes back into the neutral zone. Fondel brings it ahead. Fondel dumps it into the Michigan zone as it saucers in along the M boards. Goldberg has it there. Goldberg sweeps it around the boards. Kolwich loses an edge, but still gets it ahead. As here comes Malashevsky down the far boards over center ice. Malashevsky gains his own, coming in. Malashevsky with a shot and a score. $17-0 Michigan with the lead at 5:54. .45, excuse me. I can do some basic math. Heck, that one I can even do on my fingers. 17-0 Michigan with the lead. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to go. Here in the third, the puck in along the near boards. Bryce chases it on the near circle of her own zone. Goes back behind Poneth. Comes in along the far boards. Bryce over own blue line. Bryce over center ice. Bryce gains his own down the near boards, on the near circle, backhanded shot, save. Bryce trying to get her own rebound and put it in, and that save again by O'Brien. Bringing it ahead. Lanoom had it. And here comes Thomas gaining the zone. Thomas, top of the near circle, just loses the handle. That tipped away into the near corner. Gargiulo with it. Gargiulo loses an edge back behind the goal. She's slow to get up as she's still down as that puck loose. Gargiulo. And she rolls over and sits up. She's okay. A little scary as she was sitting down there for a moment. As trainers quickly come out, is Gargiulo able to get up, and good round of applause for her as she comes off the ice. 5 minutes, 4 seconds left to go. 17-0. By the way, that was Malashevsky's second goal of the game. So O'Brien heads back out between the pipes. So O'Brien has faced 60 shots on goal, 5. Poneth has faced. It's a whole 2 nights of work for some goaltenders. And puck in along the far boards, trying to fire it ahead is Jackman. And on the far circle, backhanded shot, loose on the near circle. And pulled away. Rubin with the shot that steered all the way back to the far point. Great job to hold it in by Reed. Outside the far circle to Lindahl. And back into the near corner. Michigan has it back over to Levinson. Levinson centering attempt. That grab by Fondel and fired on edge all the way back into the Michigan zone. As that will be icing. Literally rolled on edge all the way from one side to the other. I couldn't do that if I tried. 4 minutes, 27 seconds left to go. Again, Michigan will be back on air tomorrow versus the host, University of Utah. That will be 6:30 Ann Arbor time, 4:30 Salt Lake City time. And right back behind coming in as there's a shot by Evans and a save by O'Brien. 4:19 left to go here in the third. 17-0, Michigan with the lead. Face off in the near face-off circle. That to O'Brien's right. Matthews in to take the face off. Lanoom in on the other side. Simmer has it underneath the far circle. Simmer in along the end boards, trying to fire down in front to Matthews. That puck covered up by O'Brien. 4 minutes, 11 seconds left to go here in the third. Face-off comes back. In on the near circle, Matthews to take the face-off. Lunham on the other side. Puck and along the end boards. Atkins has it. Tipped away by Simmer. Simmer outside the near circle. There's a shot by DeCreasy. Saved by O'Brien. Top of the far circle. Simmer has it. Coming in along the end boards. Feeds it out in front, and that deflects off of the near boards. Goes all the way back into the Michigan goal. Kolwich chases it, gathers it, and Kolwich feeds it ahead. Trying to get to DeCreasy, and DeCreasy was spinning, turning, and just not quite there, so that will come all the way back into the Michigan zone. 3 minutes, 42 seconds left to go. Again, thank you so much to all of you who have joined us and watching wherever you are at, whichever team you are cheering for. We are exceedingly grateful for you cheering for these two excellent teams. Matthews in to take the face-off versus Gale. As that puck loose and along the underneath the near circle. Here comes Kolwich. Underneath the far circle, Kolwich pokes it ahead. Here comes Simmer ahead to Matthews. Matthews moves it over to DeCreasy. DeCreasy gains his own near circle. DeCreasy with a sniper shot. Saved by O'Brien. Matthews coming into the slot. Backhanded shot and a score. Matthews puts it in. That is a hat trick for Matthews. That is her third goal of the game. That makes it 18-0 Michigan with the lead at 3:23. That puck loose at center ice. Coming ahead is Swanson. Swanson down the far boards, gains the zone. Swanson outside the far circle. Now coming in along the end board. Swanson trying to move it back over to Malashevsky. Malashevsky over to Katie German at the blue line with the shot that got deflected out. Just came off the far side of the goal. Swanson underneath the near circle. Swanson puts it into the slot that comes all the way back off of the far boards. Got caught in the linesman's skate. Katie German trying to bring it back in. Katie German outside the far circle. Katie German underneath, trying to the puck loose in the slot. That chip back. Bryce puts a knuckleball that into the far corner. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go here in the third. 18-0 Michigan with the lead. Swanson gets it back underneath the far circle. Now moves it over as Gargiulo over to Malashevsky. Malashevsky shot loose out in front. Covered up. And Swanson already has a hat trick. She has a hat trick. One in the first one, the second one, the third. So looking for more there. See, we say hello to her grandmother, Sue Swanson, and Swanson gets a hat trick on the ice. Look at that. Face off in the near face off circle. That comes in along the near boards. Ricocheted off of the end boards into the far corner. Proctor has it there. Proctor comes top of the far circle, trying to backhand it through the slot. Reed, good job holding it in again at the far point. Reed fires a shot and moved away, coming all the way back. Reed holds it in at the far point, trying to get it into the slot. Here comes Proctor. Proctor with the shot. That got a post. 1 minute, 58 seconds left to go here in the third. 18-0 Michigan with the lead. Top of the far circle coming in. That poked away. Levinson has it. Levinson feeds it. That got deflected. Outside the far circle it goes. Proctor gathers it up there. Proctor on the far circle. Proctor skating in. That poke checked away. Lonham has it. That loose at the blue line. Levinson trying to pull it back in. Now Proctor spins with it at center ice, coming in the far boards. Proctor gets it over to Thomas. That wouldn't settle down on her stick. Thomas chases it over, moves it back over to Gargiulo. Gargiulo underneath the far circle. Gargiulo into the far corner with it. Gargiulo spinning with it. Gargiulo feeds it to Lindell. Lindell back behind the goal. Underneath the near circle it goes. Lindell comes into the slot with a shot. That deflected off a defender's backside. 1 minute left to go. Here in the third, Michigan holds it in as Reed sends it over to Levinson. Levinson top of the near circle. Levinson with the shot covered up by O'Brien. Just in case you're curious, 68 shots on goal by the Wolverines, 5 by the Bobcats. So O'Brien's definitely going to need an ice bath after this one. And puck Top of the near circle to Kolwich. Kolwich moves it over to Goldberg. Goldberg over to on the far circle to Lindahl. Lindahl spins with it. 40 seconds left to go here in the third. Lindahl. It's that coming in. Evans with a shot. That loose. Evans gets on the far circle. Gets a rebound again. Sends it to the blue line to Goldberg. Goldberg feeds it in along the near boards. Evans outside the near circle with it. 25 seconds left to go. Michigan 18. Montana State nothing. As 15 seconds left to go from Ponit's fifth shutout of the season, leading all ACHA goaltenders, at least in the Women's Division I. Evans with it back behind, 5 seconds left to go. Back to Goldberg. Goldberg with the shot. That got deflected out in front, and that will do it. Final shot total by the Wolverines, 69 shots on goal. I'm tired just saying that. 5 shots on goal by the Montana State Bobcats. Both teams go and thank their goaltenders again. Fifth shutout for Ponith, leading Women's Division I ACHA. Your goals in the third as Swanson started off things just like she did in the second with a goal at 19:30. Then it was Lindahl scoring at 17:58. There was a hooking call. That one was to Goldberg. Then there was a slashing call right after that, 10 seconds after that, 13:41 by Gale. Michigan scored Matthews at 13 minutes even. Then it was a Montana State penalty at 10:35. Hooking, as going off for that was Dube. Then Michigan with the goal at 10:14 as Proctor with a goal. Then at 5:45 it was Malashevsky with the goal, and then finally Matthews with the final tally at 3:23. Again, we will be back on air tomorrow, half an hour earlier, 6:30 Michigan time, 4:30 Salt Lake City time. For my camera person, Christina Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you so very, very much. We are very, very grateful for you watching and cheering wherever you are at. Thank you for your support of these wonderful, amazing teams. Have a wonderful evening. And now, the yellow, whoops, that's not what I wanted to play. I wanted to play the yellow and the blue. There we go.